owners are not even that close to this project, and I don't know that they have any legal interest or any legal ability to object to my project. Just want to say, we always want to hear from the public, but they're too far away to really have any say in this. And again, let me say my concern about security on the site, that I'm not sure that providing public access to anyone is something that's going to allow this project to work. You know, I want to bring in a really high-end hotel flag here, and they have standards in their management agreements, and I'm not sure that I can get a high-quality hotel flag with these kind of requirements. So, you know, if your mayor decides he really wants this project and he wants it to put the city beach on the map, that means I need a high-quality hotel flag. And just be aware, I'm not sure I can deliver that with some of these requests. But always glad to hear from the public.
Well, considering that the city has a history of private beach access, though there are 2 small public parks that do provide public beach access. So we will take into concern that the current public beach access are sufficient enough as they are.
I would love to install some improvements for you at those parks. That I could do.
It says you're doing it.
I mean, you know.
What?
It says you're doing that.
That I just.
It says that you're doing that anyways.
Okay.
I mean, I very much appreciate what this developer is trying to bring to our community. You know, a hotel's great and everything. I mean, you know, we object. We've listed why we object, and you know, we'd like to see a more comprehensive plan. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we're the ones that voted you in, so you guys can do what you like. But I mean, we really need to figure this thing out so that it works for all parties. And right now, this deal doesn't work.
As it stands
The
right
traffic's
now,
a big issue. The beach access is a big issue.
Is there an issue with landscaping?
We found a
You know
wall.
what flagship hotel are you, or what are the brands that you'd be targeting?
You probably know better than I do. What's a cool new brand?
Well,
Yeah, or something.
yeah. But I want to walk
Like a
inside and the
rich
W
spot.
Hotel opens to the public, so that would
Well,
solve the
we're
problem
still,
there.
you know, we're still in
And you could walk
negotiations.
on Sunday mornings,
You know,
poolside with
Sounds
a
like a bait
mimosa.
and switch to me. I doubt the W is going to open a hotel here, but
one of the main benefits that the hotel should provide for the community is jobs. You know?
Well,
We're
that's-
retired. We don't need to.
Yeah, you remember
You know?
the condos with the new families and
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
Yes,
kids.
what would the base multiplier be for this proposed development?
What with the what?
The base multiplier.
You're talking about, is this a financial?
No, it's
What do you mean?
it's, you take, there's like location quotients and.
Oh, no idea. You guys are probably studying that in other classes.
he's a commercial realtor.
Terms?
How many jobs?
Oh, somebody, well, all right, let me
And how many will be
go back
landscapers?
into my role. We would be glad, you know, and I have to tell you that we've already thought that this would be needed, so we're going to provide an economic impact analysis of the project that will tell you how much we're going to increase the tax base, how many construction jobs we're going to create, and how many permanent jobs we're going to create by bringing this project to your city. And this project's going somewhere up or down this beach. It doesn't have to be your city, but it can be. If we work together, we listen to the concerns from the community and address them as best we can. I'm not saying it's going to be every one, but we want to bring those benefits to your city. And somebody has to bring up the bait and switch.
What if you were to develop a high line type structure over the intercoastal with some nice greenery and a walking path? And then people could, that would solve some of the issue with traffic and it would get me more trees and greenery.
Oh, you mean on the parcel, the valet parking parcel on the west side?
Correct.
Well, I need, you know, I need to park my cars, and I really don't want to use my most valuable acreage to do that. We'll we'll certainly analyze it, we'll evaluate that. Okay. Trying to figure out how we can switch roles here. And, okay, so let's assume that the developer has done the studies that staff has requested, and done a traffic study that the results of which are that we have to do intersection improvements. We've been asked to widen the sidewalks, we've agreed to do that. We've agreed to make improvements to the public parks, but not to allow public access through the hotel. And I'm trying to think what other changes we've made. We've agreed to all the architectural requirements that the staff has requested. No transit, because there's just no transit to connect to. We can't be a little island of transit. We're in a sea of no transit. But this is what we're ready to go to the public hearing with. And there's no recommendation from staff because you're caught between the mayor and the city manager has told you, nope, we're gonna present it to the city commission, we're gonna tell them the facts, we're not gonna make a recommendation, but we are gonna tell them if it complies with the comprehensive plan. Because that's essentially what the city staff has to do. So, and then we're gonna have a public hearing, but let's rotate it around. So, I'm just trying to think. Noah's going to be the developer. Pick someone else for your team, for the development team. Hugh's going to be the mayor, and you guys need to get out of the role of the neighborhood opposition. So, you two are neighborhood opposition, and your staff now, city staff. Can you do that?
I was thinking developer.
Oh, you just got picked for developer?
Yeah.
Okay, so developers, city staff, neighborhood opposition, mayor, and I'm just wrong.
I mean, we fit,
Developers have the best side of the
we
room.
fit within all of
Okay,
our-
so Hugh's the mayor, he's gonna conduct the meeting. You guys are the staff now, right?
Okay.
So you're gonna have to make a presentation. This is really low-key, don't relax. You're gonna tell the mayor and the city commission about the project, and the changes that have been made to the project since the first DRC, and that you have or have not found it to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, but otherwise don't have any recommendation, so go.
So we should start.
Well, you can give them a few minutes to gather their thoughts and then call the meeting to order.
I'm totally in favor of this.
Thank you.
Okay, so where did you go? What has been,
So,
I hope I get a big.
maybe building
Maybe about
beautiful.
quick.
Public parks that exist. Doesn't, intersection improvements, did some traffic improvements, nothing else. That's
So,
it.
no beach improvements, like a beach access improvements?
No, not on our property, no, not on the development.
Are you familiar with what has been going on at Aubert? On Fort Lauderdale, with the whole extension and the underground parking and all that?
No, I mean, I was involved, we represented them early on, but I haven't been involved since.
I guess that's why the North Tower launched first, because they wanted to rush on doing jobs, bring interest.
Everything, yeah.
And
Improvements as is.
I wanna say it was the city demanded that Aubert extend the beach due to the erosion.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that they paid for 175 linear feet of beach,
Wow.
which took away from, they're kind of running it down. And that was the last I heard, that's why I was wondering if you were kind of familiar with that.
No, they changed land use council early on. My old partner Debbie Oshevsky was representing them. But they changed council and sort of dropped out of
Meeting come to order.
Okay?
Thank you, developers, for attending, and as you guys are aware, I'm totally,
Wait, you want to hear a presentation from staff,
oh, okay.
and then a response from the developers, and then hear from the public. You've got to be the mayor, you've got to be the judge, okay?
Okay. Mayor,
Yes.
the company UDEFCO, they own 2 acres of land in the west side, in the east side of A&A, and no, 2 acres in the west side, east side of the A&A, and 1 acre in the west side of the A1A. So they want to build a parking lot in the west side and a hotel with 200 rooms in the east side, in the beach side of the city. So the lots are commercial and are E2 zoning, so they are
In compliance.
in compliance with the zoning. With
Okay, so you're basically ready to follow through and approving this plan.
Want to hear from the developer?
Yes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, DRC committee. You know, as you're aware, we've been working on this for a while. We thank you for your help with this. We complied with all the requirements that were set forth at our initial meeting. And we look forward to delivering this successful project for you guys.
Members of the public?
You know, I've always been on the side of this development. I'm not just the mayor for the beach, I'm the mayor for the entire community. And I know your project will provide the communities with jobs. You will do some mitigation to improve the beach itself. And homeowners in Enclave are very much, you know, in agreement with my decision as far as welcoming this development to our community. So basically, your development is approved.
That was easy.
Okay, let me jump in here and say, I'm another city commissioner.
Oh, you're not deck?
I'm Mr. Mayor. You know, you're not the only person elected to represent people in the city. I don't appreciate the fact that this developer hoodwinked us, got us to approve the PD ordinance,
Switching.
and now, instead of cleaning up that mess at the shopping center out west and creating some jobs there, they're lining their pockets by bringing in this, trying to bring in this hotel project on the beach. And I don't trust them, and I think that you're trying to get this approved too quickly. And on top of it all, you haven't even heard from any members of the public yet. So I'm not ready to vote on this yet until we at least hear what the other members of the community think.
So, good afternoon. As neighborhood community opposition, we would like to, we conclude that we need like intersection improvements, traffic improvements, architecture improvements. We don't want the beach, no beach access improvements, and it will remain as it is.
So we've actually addressed all of those issues. If you were present at the last meeting, you would know this. And, you know, we've planned for roundabouts, we've dedicated a park, a portion of that park, you know, could have beach access. And what else did we do here?
I mean, I think we've gone well above and beyond our requirement to build our hotel. I mean, we've dedicated sidewalks, we've helped improve the roads, and we've met you guys' requirements, so.
Well, in terms of providing service, is this service only be provided to your guests, or can we provide to any customer who's going to walk in to utilize the restaurant or the poolside bar, or is that for
Exclusively,
guests
yes.
only?
Just like any hotel, you know, that would be up to them. But
We,
most hotels encourage, you know,
We run a business and, you know, we're open to, you know, accepting people. I mean, we have a restaurant that charges. I mean, nobody's coming to our restaurant for free. You wanna use our restaurant, you know, you can come
By
like
the
a
way,
paying customer.
if you're in Hallandale Beach, they're always gonna exact from you an agreement to give residents a discount, just thought I'd mention that.
You know, I was at Turtle's Tumbler the other day, and I just happened, I said, hey, I own a house around here. Do I get a discount? She goes, not at all. You're the first person to ever ask me that. But I'm
Oh,
gonna
at
give you
Gulf Street? Were you at
10%
Gulf-
off, just because that's so absurd.
Okay, sorry, I distracted you. So, I took you all out of character.
Yeah, I mean, you know, our amenities are open to the public with a fee, so.
So-
And by the way, Mr. Commissioner, I know I'm not the only person representing this city, but you have to take into consideration our tax base is very low, and we need to get revenue into our coffers. We need developers like these gentlemen that are coming in to make a worthwhile contribution to our city.
Now, I'm not gonna be prepared to vote in favor of this project until these developers go and meet with this neighborhood one more time. And I wanna make sure that they've done everything they can to address the neighbors' concerns. So you're all gonna get deferred. So let's stop, let's come out and say that that's very common, okay? If there's a huge, we don't have a huge room full of objecting people here, but when there is a big room full of objecting people, sometimes they have matching t-shirts, all of these things, it's not uncommon for there to be a deferral. Send you out to have, the developer out to have another meeting to try to find a way to appease the neighborhood. I've done that informally before, where we've reached an informal agreement with a neighborhood, but mostly it's when we're gonna make changes to a project that can be reflected on the project plans or in the conditions. But if it's something private, where we're going to pay them money to paint their building under the assumption that our construction is going to damage the paint on their building, or we're going to pay them money for some other purpose, or we're going to provide a construction monitoring service for the benefit of the adjacent condominium. I've done agreements that do all those kind of things. That becomes a private agreement. And then what the developer solicits as a result of that private agreement is an agreement from the condominium association or the HOA to send a representative to the meeting to stand up and say that they now support the project. You can't control everybody. That condominium association or HOA that approves a settlement, so to speak, with a developer doesn't control what the individual members of the association show up at the public hearing and say. So from the developer's perspective, it's not completely hold hands and sing kumbaya, because if there's a dissenting homeowner, you cannot stop them from showing up and complaining. All you can do is say, make sure that they have the president, vice president, the building committee, whatever it is, stand and say, I am the appointed and authorized representative of the condominium association, and we have voted to support the project. And then all of his neighbors who still don't like the project line up right behind him and say, I hate it, it's too tall, it's shadowing my pool, it's gonna create traffic, it's whatever it is. So, when, as a developer, if you're contemplating doing something to appease a neighboring homeowner, there's nothing illegal about it, but keep in mind that you're not gonna completely be able to shut down the opposition, because they have a constitutional right to go and complain.
With things like offering those public bikes.
Correct. Right.
Would something like that essentially be able to appease a traffic issue?
I don't
Or
think
not
the
really?
traffic engineer would say that the availability of public
Alternative, right.
is gonna be significant enough to alter the traffic analysis.
Yeah.
Even
Even if you create bike lanes and encourage.
It's probably not enough. I mean, they're bound by the ITE manual as to how they value these things, but even with captured trips, like if you have a mixed-use development that has residential and commercial and all on one parcel, part of your goal is to reduce the number of trips that they count off-site because you're going to retain them on-site. Okay, somebody who lives in the apartment building is not going to need to go out onto the road system to buy groceries because there's a grocery store in the same parcel. And they reduce the number of trips that are allocated based on that mixed use, but even that isn't very big. And what the number of trips they reduce for transit, it's just because the data is just not there to support it. It's just really not that significant. And I have done deals with condominium associations to do a pre-construction inspection and a post-construction inspection and post a bond to deal with damage associated with the adjacent construction. I've done deals to paint their buildings. I've done deals to resurface their pool area. And if they get too greedy, there is a sense that they're like, we're fine, we just want money. There's a sense in which that public information can boomerang, can backfire if it becomes public. So it's a little bit of an uncomfortable dance with them. But some of their concerns are legitimate, like protecting them from the direct impact of construction of a new
Yeah,
tower.
those big
Well,
heavy trucks on the local streets.
At Galleria, they want to do I guess they are doing it, right? I think it's 45 stories, and they've got the outdoor living thing and yoga suit. All I want is the dog park, but it's gonna just jam on baby. It's already kind of crazy.
Sunny Isles, the Porsche Design Building, the condo next to them just served them a lawsuit and every contractor involved, stating that,
Really?
Yes.
stating, well, it states a lot of different things, but one of probably the biggest things is they're saying that the way that they put in the foundations, the vibrations, cause differential sediment on their building and there's cracks. And
Wow.
because when you drive in the sheet piles, they vibrate them in.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're sued the
So they're-
contractor, the developer, Deezer, and everybody. So
Wow.
that'll become a
It's
big.
a small building, correct?
Huh?
Six
No,
story
no.
It's a Porsche design?
No, the
Seven
next,
stories.
the next
Yeah.
Porsche design. The one who's,
Yeah. And then they're also saying there's concrete splatter from the pores and,
Yeah,
some of it may be true, some of it may not be true.
yeah.
The one
Sorry,
morning.
concrete splatter?
And when you pour and it just splatters in.
When the trucks leave, a lot of times there's drips,
Ah,
and you might be in your car behind that truck.
It's more from the elevated decks, when you're pouring the elevated decks,
The
you get a
wind
little
takes it.
wind and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 70 stories it is?
I think that's 60
Wow.
stories.
Nope, these are, so, it's not just a shakedown sometimes when an
It's
adjacent condominium wants some sort of protection. They can be legitimate concerns.
like when you mentioned about like the homeowners association, they want funds to provide, paint up the building to make it look nice, or provide like renovations, provide extensive safety for like hurricane and flooding. I mean, in that sense, then it retains the value not only of the homeowners association, the condo towers, but may increase property value, and in return provide more value to the hotel, not making it as grimy.
It could be, it depends on how you look at it, and from a development perspective, you just have to have some sense of how much your project can afford to do and what's gonna be the benefit. Are you getting it, like Denny talked about, if it's like no project, I've got no approvals. If I don't get these people off my back, then the balance might change versus I'm gonna have one really ugly public hearing, but I think I've got the votes in the end. Because 4 votes beats a good argument every day, okay? So in the end, if you have the votes, it might not be worth your while to spend the money appeasing the neighbors on things. You know, sometimes it's just the right thing to do, though. And some of it is common sense. You understand when construction is happening that there's going to be off-site impacts associated with the construction. So requests to do things to mitigate that aren't out of line, right?
I've had people, there's just on single family homes where the guys called and been like, hey, if you paint my house, it'll help your property value. So I can imagine, and when you're doing a high rise, you get all the crazies calling
Yeah, it can
for
be.
everything.
It can be enough to make you pound your head against the table a little bit, but, okay. Do you think that with this few people, I'm not sure that we can do any more, we can beat this problem to death?
So is this based on anything?
It's kind of a compilation of some things I've encountered on different projects over the years. You know, one thing we didn't really take the time to get into is what, and I put it in the problem just to make you aware of it. So we assumed that this project, this hotel project, would only work with the PD ordinance, and a PD ordinance that would allow them to deviate from standard zoning requirements. And nobody's prepared plans on this fictional project or anything, so we don't know what those deviations are or how many. Well, that's something that you've got to remain sensitive to. Some cities, once you're into a PD type of planning program, nobody's really keeping track of what the standard would have been under the traditional zoning, but some of them do. And there will be a list in the staff report that says these are the ways in which this project under a PD approval deviates from what the standard zoning would require. And you have to be sensitive to that list getting too long. Just like you could only, if you kept your traditional zoning and you were seeking variances, you'd have to be cognizant of how many variances do I need. Maybe 2, 3, 4, but if I'm into asking for 13 variances, that's not where you want to be. That's just too much deviation. Even on the plan development side, be cognizant of how much you are deviating from the standard zoning. And so, it gives you a good story. It's like, we're deviating in these ways, but these are all the benefits that we're providing in the PD zoning. This is the kind of architecture that we can deliver because of this. These are the larger balconies that we can put on these homes. These are whatever it is, whatever the benefits are. And with this problem, I'm kind of throwing it out there that clearly the hotel project couldn't have happened without the PD, but we don't really know in what respects the project utilized the flexibility of the PD. But be conscious of how much out of the box you're trying to go with your project. Because eventually you get too much resistance. Yeah, Daniel?
Like, for example, like, under the B2 zoning, it says here that the conditional uses, like the max height for commercial building, in this case a hotel, is 50 feet. And because this is 17 stories, 17-story building. I think that's
Clearly more than 50 feet.
Yeah. But because it is planned development, it can go out of that. But because it is not concurrency with the rest of the city, you can probably make the argument that it's a bit too much. Ready?
That's the sense. Okay? It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for your efforts and your hard work. Some of you did not see my email or did not respond to it on the Kuntz case. It's going to factor into like a class participation aspect of your grade, so if you still want to respond on Kuntz, you can.
Oh, because I thought we were going to discuss about that in class. I didn't realize we had to.
No, the email did say please respond.
3
Yeah, I
bullet
asked
points.
for a response.
3 bulleted points.
I sent you an email with the Kuntz case that had
Yeah.
questions on it. I attached it to another email on Tuesday that said, since we missed the class, that we were going to talk about it, send me an email response to those.
Do you want that with the final?
I want it as soon, it's already overdue, it was due by Friday at 8, so I want it as soon as you can. And again, it's not a separate grade, it's not a graded item, it's just something that's gonna come into play in your class participation.
Thank you.
I'll send it to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I
No.
didn't realize that Tuesday was now